the recording. All right. So let's kick off our week 8 weekly sync. This is our last one of the session. Um, and up first is demos. I know y'all did a lot of work on the app this week. But yeah, we'll hand it over to you to get started with demo.
Awesome. I'll be sharing screen. All right. Take it over, Rebecca. Okay. Welcome to Berrycar, everyone. Our app was designed with just the shades of red, similar to a strawberry, and then some white and 2 shades of blue, just offering a straightforward and user-friendly interface. And the design is not only visually appealing, but also we made sure that it is fully responsive on any device. And then of course here on the land page, that's the first page we see, and we have 2 main options where we can either create a new list or join an existing one. And for those looking to join a list, we have implemented a system to check if the list exists and if the characters entered are correct. And then of course the users receive notifications to keep them informed throughout the process. And then if we want to see more information on how to use the app, our About page is easily accessible from the home page, and then here we'll find simple instructions and then the images of our pages for reference, and a helpful FAQ section just with questions from the previous users just to guide the users. And that's basically it for these 2 pages. Now I'll pass over to my colleague Aslan so he can give you more information.
Thank you, Raquel. So as Raquel thank you. So as Raquel explained, you can create a new token if you create a new list, and it takes you to this list page where you can also copy your token in case you need to save it somewhere or share it with your friends so they can join your list. And if you click on add item, you can add items to your list, and after putting a name in the add item, you can choose the frequency of your purchase. So the app reminds you when you should buy this item again. And when you click on add item, then you can see, then you get a notification that reminds you that the item is added to your list. And if you go to the list, you can see your item is listed there with a frequency tag that reminds you how soon you would buy this again. And you can also look at the legend below to see what each tag means in terms of the frequency of your purchase. And if you have another token for a new list to join, you can simply click on logout, go back to the home page, and enter a new token to join another list that you or your friends might have created. So I'm passing to Shanguan to continue.
Thank you, Aslan. So you can join an existing shopping list by enter a keyword token. So in my case, I'll use my test list as an example. And once you join the list, you will see all the items organized by frequency. So you will see overdue on the top and then from soon to not so soon. And on the top here, you can filter items by name. So if I type B, you will see banana and beans. And you can also delete an item by clicking on the trash bin here next to the item name, and it will ask you, are you sure you want to delete the item? Once you confirm the item is gone. You can also mark an item as purchased by check the little green dot next to the item name. And once you do that, you will see the item is crossed off. And also it's reflected here on the top with a counter. You will notice that the overdue has been flipped to soon. This is because Berrycart is a smart shopping list. So once you start using the app more, it will start to picking up your shopping behaviors and adjust those urgencies based on how frequently you need those items. So this is a walkthrough of the app's functionality. Next, I'll pass over to Karina to talk about the tech stacks.
Okay, everyone. So our app was the code base was already set up when we started in React, Firebase, and Node.js. In the past few weeks, because we focused on an UI and design, we picked up Figma, where we created a mood board. And then obviously we used a lot of CSS, but mostly Tailwind CSS for our UI. We also imported a few libraries. You already noticed when Shangguan deleted an item, a modal popped up. So that's from the React modal. We used Toastify for the pop-up messages that inform the user if there's an error or to confirm that an item was added to the list. And then also Daisy UI, which is a library built on Tailwind CSS. I'm going to segue into accessibility, but I'm also going to say that those three libraries that we chose, we were mindful of the accessibility features that we wanted to make sure that our app has. So we were careful picking those libraries. React Motor is very accessible by default, so we had nothing to change. And then if the other two libraries had default features that were not according to our standards, we were going behind the scene and manually updated those default features. In terms of our overall approach to accessibility, we were very mindful of that from at every step. So we didn't really have to refactor anything in the last minute. We use probably the most important rule of accessibility, which is semantic HTML. So our buttons are buttons and not divs disguised as buttons. We wrapped inputs in labels. We added ARIA label whenever the buttons label was not self-explanatory. Both for accessibility reason, but also convenience of keyboard users, we decided to manage input sometimes. If the user tries to enter a name, we want to make sure whether that's valid or not. We want to make sure that the focus stays within the input field. We also added ARIA Live attributes, which we're probably not going to necessarily demo right now because we'll have to turn on the screen reader. So we wanted to make sure that certain changes in the UI, the pop-up messages, whether error message or confirmation message, we want to make sure that those messages are announced to a screen reader user. One feature that's in production that we're very proud of is to make this app accessible to and available to user of any language. We already tested it in Chinese, French, and Romanian, and it's working. So that's a feature that we will be adding soon. Thank you so much.
You're going to localize the app? That's amazing.
We're hoping so.
Yeah, that's really cool. Is there anything else for the demo?
I think that's about it. Yes.
Okay.
Team.
I mean, Chase, I'm sure you have comments, but yeah, really nice job. The app is really attractive. Like it's just like colorful and inviting and things. I love that. I love that you have a user guide. I'm trying to think back if anybody else has ever. There might have been one other team that maybe had some help text or something that they added, but that's a really nice little addition. Love the attention you all paid to accessibility, of course. Yeah, if you were to localize it, that would be a first for sure. And I would love to see that. That'd be amazing. But yeah, really nice job. I have one question kind of about the sort of transition, like 2 weeks ago from every week you're kind of told what to work on, and then 2 weeks ago you're kind of given like a much higher order task and then asked to self-organize. So what was that like? Was that like, were you fairly comfortable with that because you had been working with people for a few weeks, or was there a little bit of a struggle to kind of get yourselves organized? I'm just kind of curious how that process went for you.
Yeah, I think in the first we kind of struggled a little bit, and we decided to use a Google Doc to organize like what kind of features we want to add, a must have versus good to have, and also like from a design perspective, like what logo and what scene and what mood board. And luckily, each of us already have a strength. So I'm a PM, and Raquel has a really designer brain, so
Mm.
she is familiar with Figma and designing the mood board. And Aslan is familiar with Tailwind CSS, so he's helping on adjusting the design. And Karina is the accessibility expert. So each of us were able to play our strengths in the final ramp up.
That's handy to have all those skills on the team.
Yeah.
Probably made it a little easier. That's great.
Also, Andrew, I think the way was Collab set up from the beginning, the way that everything was demonstrated as a story that would move into review, peer review, and then mentor review. We kind of, when we were working on our own, like Shangon had a Google document set up, I think we almost followed the same path. So it was like a learning experience from Collab itself, how to guide the team throughout these past 2 weeks. And I think it worked really great.
That's good. Yeah. Anything to add, Karina or Raquel?
No, nothing. What, Raquel, go ahead.
No problem. I would just say we also made sure to check other teams, what they did before, and kind of inspire some of our new features in design based on their design. And we saw some fruits in there, so why not strawberry color? And so that's how we found that out. And yeah, that was basically how inspired the colors and the strawberry thing.
I was going to say, I agree with what the three of them mentioned. Of course, life got in the way. And I do want to praise my teammates for kind of picking up the tab a little bit. For me, I was sick with COVID. So for like a week, I was kind of like out of the picture. But this is not about me. So this is just kudos to them. And it just happened that it was during those 2 weeks. And, it is difficult to manage people's schedules, and I would actually imagine that would be much easier in a real work environment because, everybody's working 9 to 5 and the expectation is that, you're available then, so I think more power to us that we made it work, across few time zones and like really different schedules.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, one of the things I think happens for a lot of teams at that point where, okay, oh, we have 2 weeks to kind of like finish the app, and there are all these things you want to do, and eventually you have to kind of make some prioritization decisions. That's one of the things that I think is I don't know, like a team that's working well together, they're going to be able to kind of make those decisions together and kind of collaboratively. I'm just kind of curious if was there scope that you had to cut? Were there any features that didn't make it in? Maybe, I mean, I guess the localization would be maybe one that you were like you kind of want to do that's still out there, but was there anything else that you wanted to get done but you didn't quite have time?
I think I'll speak for myself. I think it's because we were so great at adding a lot of features. And the more features you add, the more complex your application is. Speaking of accessibility, the more intricate it becomes. And we're not experts. We're a beginner when it comes to accessibility. So I think some issues have come up, but we were able to fix them, and there's still some PRs coming along. So at least from my point of view, I think. Because sometimes it's really hard to find answers to accessibility questions. I think there's more resources. How do I code this? And even if you copy and paste something into Chat GPT, it's more likely to give you a right answer. If your scope is very narrow, then to receive a correct answer about accessibility that will actually work. So I think this is something that we have to work on. I mean, individually, not necessarily as part of the team, because we've grown so much in terms of accessibility. It's like, where do we go from here? Because things are more difficult.
Don't be humble, Corina. You were very good at accessibility, and I learned a lot from you about that because I all I knew about accessibility was just the basic HTML stuff, like the label and you know, just stuff like that, and the rest, area label and area live. I learned from you and kind of inspired me to go and research about it. So I do call you an accessibility expert.
You're very sweet. I mean, it's this is life, like I think the seven of us, including the mentors, we are better at accessibility now. And this all happened because in my last semester of teaching, I had a student who was relying on assistive technology.
Hmm.
Okay, and I wanted to see how he perceived the world. He's going to be blind in a few years. His vision is deteriorating, since birth. So he's going to be completely blind in a few years, and in my classroom he couldn't see 2 feet away, so I had to reformat everything. So that's the experience that carries, that I carry with me. And I was, so now because of that one person, there's seven of us who are better off, with accessibility. And if each one of us spreads this further, um, I think there's hope for the accessibility field.
I'd love to hear that. Yeah, it can be really powerful when you kind of see someone who's maybe struggling with the way that you like might be used to presenting information or something, and then you can make some changes that just make it that much easier for them. That's great. I'm really impressed. I don't know, Chase, if you had other questions or kind of comments on the demo. But...
Oh yeah, I just wanted to comment that that user guide. I know you all were talking about it just a few days ago, and it came together really fast, and it looks really great. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
Thank
really
you.
cool idea. I'm going to drop and let you all do the rest of your, like the retro and everything that you planned. But great job. The app looks fantastic. I love the little features that you've added. And like I said, the focus on accessibility, especially, that's something that's important to me. I believe we're all connected on LinkedIn. So how I might be able to be helpful to you is, connected to a lot of people. So if you are applying to a company or something, I have no shame about just cold emailing somebody there and, trying to get them to pay attention to your application. So that's one way that you can just kind of like leverage me. Don't be shy about asking me for that kind of help. Happy to write recommendations on your LinkedIn profiles, all those kinds of things. So, and I encourage you all to do that for each other too. You have a lot more direct experience working with each other. So you'll be able to speak to specifics of, Raquel's strengths versus Aslan's, and that kind of thing. So, yeah, great job. You clearly, like you brought a diverse set of skills to the team, which I think kind of paid off, and you ended up with a great result at the end. So, yeah, great work.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity, Andrew. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
all right. For our last portion of Weekly Sync, we're gonna do a final retro.
Can we just take a deep breath, Chase?
Of course we can do that. How do y'all feel? That the app looks amazing. Like really great. I know y'all put in a lot of work, especially these last couple weeks.
Feels good, no?
Yeah, I feel relieved. I feel like we were trying to cram in more things towards the end, but I'm glad that we all got it. And yeah, it looks amazing now.
I feel the same way, Shangwan.
Yeah, part of the reason is because I sent this app to a couple users and they gave me a lot of good feedback, and we're trying to adjust the app and including the user guide based on those user testing feedback.
Oh, did we say that in the intro? I was so stressed about what I was going to say. Did we mention the users?
We didn't, but it's okay.
Yeah. I did. I mentioned the previous users.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
asked about the FAQ. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was such a good idea, though, to implement the user testing. I think if we had made that decision earlier, it would even be better. It was so good. I believe I will do it if I ever decide to develop an app. I will definitely do it, the user testing.
Yeah.
Thanks to Shanguan. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty standard. I think a lot of them actually tested from the, obviously we didn't have the time. You test it even before you have the app, like you show them the Figma boards and that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed it looked like a lot of your feedback you got that you felt was important made it directly into the FAQs. And I really like the like text message style of it. It's really cool.
One idea. It looks really great.
Uh, so I'm going to post in the chat here. It's going to be our retro board that Caitlin made for this week. And then the first thing I like to do for retro is to go back to our previous week. Our last retro would be in week 6, and we can look at some of these action items and see if we were able to accomplish them or if it's something we still would like to do in the future. This first one here is rework some of the comments where applicable. I know I saw some of that in the PR. Do you think we or you all accomplished this one?
I think we did.
Um, improve readability across the app. Use consistent name patterns and names.
Yeah, we
I think we
refactored
did.
some of the components.
Do an accessibility audit before you wrap up the project. I know you were kind of working on that.
Yeah, so I sort of did one on Saturday, but so as I said, there's a few PRs coming along, so I guess we'll have to do another one, but yes, we did. So we know what needs to be, tweaked, so to speak.
Awesome. Then hide the nav leaks in certain situations where it isn't needed.
Yes.
Yes.
And you're working on responsive styling and styling in general. We obviously updated the style and it looks great. I know you made a lot of responsibility changes as well. Would you say that's crossed off as well?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, moving on to the board this week. It's going to be a little different. We're going to do our appreciations, what went well, what can be improved. Um, and then a new one is what's next for you. We'll would like to hear what you have planned kind of after this, or yeah, anything you're moving on to or hoping to move on to. And then I think we can do here also not just the last 2 weeks like we usually do, but kind of for the whole session as well. And then we can probably, I'll start a timer. And yeah, then we can get started with this. Find this helpful for me. That was 7 minutes. Is everyone done, or should do a couple more minutes of writing?
I'm done.
Uh, is everyone finished writing all their things?
Yeah.
Awesome. Uh, all right, let's get started. Um, we can read appreciations first. So these first two are from Caitlin. It's been such a joy working with this team. Shout out to the Globbies for being consistently engaged, thoughtful, and kind for this entire 8 weeks. I've learned a lot from you all, and it makes me so happy to know that developers like you are joining the world of tech. Shout out to my fellow mentors for being great teachers for this team and for me. Thank you both for being so on top of things and always jumping in to help as needed so things could run super smoothly. Uh, Next couple from Devin. Working with this team has been a dream. I know I keep saying this, but your collaborative skills have been amazing throughout this entire process, and you've each rightfully earned the title of Collabby. I loved seeing how you use each of your different skill sets to bring different perspectives to this project and make it feel so complete. Your optimism, enthusiasm, and willingness to learn will make you a worthy addition to any engineering team. Thanks so much to my fellow mentors, Caitlin and Chase, for being such a great team and keeping an eye on the details when I didn't. The notion of being assigned lead mentor felt like a huge responsibility, but I felt supported each step of the way. Shankland?
Yeah, shout out to all three mentors for the tremendous amount of guidance and code review, and kudos to my three amazing teammates for bringing this app to life and working till the last milestone. And I learned a lot from each of you.
Raquel?
It was a pleasure working with you all, and I've learned a lot from each and every one of you.
Karina?
How do you know it was me?
I saw your message earlier. This one.
Oh, I thought you remember from 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
that you're too polite to say that. This has been an amazing experience because of the mentors and the teammates that I had. We supported each other and learned from each other and collaborated very well. Thank you so much to all of you.
Elson?
I'm feeling so grateful for this experience, all the insight I received from our amazing mentors, and the opportunity to work with brilliant teammates. I learned a lot and witnessed the power of collaborative work.
Uh, and then I said it's been really inspiring to see how y'all work together to create something great. That turned out so well, and it looks amazing. All right. So what went well? Caitlin said, I haven't even seen your final demo yet, and already I'm blown away by the quality of the app you all developed. This team has done an amazing job of embodying all the values we try to instill in this program: compassionate collaboration, thoughtful decision making, and an emphasis on accessibility. I hope you all consider coming back to TCL as mentors in the future. Then Devin says, Mark from Apple saying, this looks pretty much done, and I'm not sure what else to say. And also, this was one week's worth of design. You all crushed it yet again. The app looks and feels so great. It's user-friendly, intuitive, and those instructions for the user are just an extra berry on top. Mm. Shingwon?
We were able to implement all the must-have features and enhance user experience in the last 2 weeks, and I'm feeling more confident in terms of technical communication, Git commands.
Raquel.
I loved how we worked well together and respected each other's opinions, even when we disagreed with one another. I also loved learning new things with you all.
Karina.
We collaborated really well, and we also had some fun.
That's
This
me.
one?
Seeing the way our team operated over the past 2 weeks, we made lots of decisions both on the technical and non-technical side. Those decisions finally led to a successful execution.
Yeah. I was really impressed with all you were able to get done in the last few weeks. From all the new features you added to the great styling, everything seems coming together really well. What could be improved? Caitlin says. One thing to keep in mind in the future is when planning work, try to write issues to describe a tightly scoped increment of work, and then make sure your PRs are scoped to match. This will make it easier for teammates to review your changes, and it'll make it easier for you to review past work. For example, if you're trying to pinpoint when a bug was introduced, or remember why a certain decision was made. Yeah, I think her comment is that one thing that happened is kind of the majority of the changes ended up into kind of a single PR instead of like multiple PRs for kind of each of those points or issues. Yeah. And then Devin says, you all have gotten a whole lot better at it, but don't forget to keep in mind code readability. Your team, and most importantly, your future selves will thank you for it. Awesome. And then, what's next for you? Caitlin says, I'll be mentoring in the Career Lab cohort that began this weekend, and then plan to mentor with TCL again in the future. I'm always around on Slack. Feel free to reach out to me if you ever want to talk. I'm always happy to make time to chat with Collabbies. Devin says, like Caitlin, I'll also be mentoring at Career Lab and helping out around TCL whenever I can. You'll always be part of this great community, and there's always something going on. Feel free to volunteer in any way. Help is always welcome. Awesome. Same one.
Yeah, I'll be studying at an internship tomorrow, and also excited to attend the
Awesome.
I will just be focusing on applying for jobs, and maybe taking some courses as well.
Awesome. Raquel.
Just look for jobs, network more, maybe ask some referrals, and keep working on my DSA skills.
Career Lab for now, and working on a project I have started 2 weeks ago.
Awesome. 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 How do y'all feel? how, how did it all go? How was that experience?
I mean, I wish it was a bit longer. Even the 2 weeks, they were intense. And I didn't even want to, I didn't even like participate that much in the first week, but I just felt intense. So maybe like that, make that an extra week. I mean, this is my way of saying that, we had fun, and we learned so much. So, now, it feels like, okay, we are done. It's kind of like you want a break, I mean, and tomorrow is a holiday, at least. I think it's a federal holiday, no? Or is it just Massachusetts?
I'm not sure.
No, Columbus Day. Okay, then in Massachusetts, it's Indigenous Peoples Day. Okay, so maybe just Massachusetts. Okay. Yeah, so it's And it's also it's exciting to think about new things, what we're gonna do next in a way, now that we have this experience.
Yeah, in my case, I feel relieved. Of course, I'm gonna miss you all, but at the same time, I'm relieved that I can start working on new things and start like focusing data structures and algorithms more now, and kind of motivates me more, and I feel more confident to finally mass apply and go after networks after this experience. So yeah, it was great.
Um, yeah, like this was my first collab lab that I participated in, and I was first surprised just like the first couple of weeks, uh, just like at how high of a skill level y'all already were at. Um, I guess I wasn't expecting you to be so good even at the beginning. Because I mean, I guess maybe the first few weeks are, fairly simple, but then we got to some more complex challenges, and you guys really tackled those fairly easily. But yeah, it was really great to see these last 2 weeks. So you I don't know, yeah, you just really did some really cool things, and yeah, I was just impressed. That's all.
I heard there are some changes for the new cohorts. Do you know what those are yet? Or Andrew was hinting in the message of that, and I was wondering if those are ironed out already or not yet.
I'm not sure of all the new changes. I know like when this cohort started, um, uh, they like reduced the frequency to I think like quarterly now, or something like that, so they can focus more on the like material, and but I'm not sure of all the actual like changes that have been going on.
I can imagine as a mentor to just like, end with a cohort and then just start the new one right away. Must have been tight. Yeah, so I think it's just like twice a year. So the next one is in February. Shangwan, is your internship online or in person?
Yeah, it's remote.
It's remote. Okay. Oh, that's nice.
How long is that for? That's exciting.
Yeah, it's for a startup. I found it on AngelList, and it's a really small startup, but they need some React skills.
I honestly would not be surprised if they hired you after you were done because you're really good. Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, I just want more experience on my resume.
And what if they decided to hire permanently, ask for shares? Hello, we want a few persons to test us.
I will. Yeah, and Raquel, if you ever need to study data structure and algorithms, I'm happy to share some resources or just study together.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We'll definitely reach out. Thank you. Moment of silence.
We're just taking everything in.
Yeah.
I know, Sharon, when you shared the app with obviously some people to test with and all that, but has anyone else shared the app with people and seen the response to it, to something y'all made?
I share with my husband, but he, of course, he's gonna say it's great, right? He's gonna make his wife happy. But, yeah.
Yeah, I want to share it with my kids, because I think you get a different view from them, I'm so curious what they're gonna say. And then, ever since I started sharing my project with, especially with my teenage son, he thinks I'm so cool. So I'm just, yeah, I actually I built like a small platform game in JavaScript, and I was like, whoa, he's helping me actually design one of the levels. But of course, like I couldn't go past level 2. Like it has like 5 levels. It's just like a little person kind of like catching coins and escaping lava pits and hot lava drips and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna just also from user experience, because kids are the way they use their phones. I don't know, just I'll never get to that level. Mostly because I don't use it that often. I try not to, but
Maybe we're going to inspire them to become software engineers too in the future. Who knows?
I don't know. Like I'm just hoping that this generation is just not getting too lazy. But then, we have Chat GPT, so they don't need to know as much as, our generation. Or I can't even imagine like being a software engineer 30 years ago or 40 years ago. I mean, I think there's different requirements for different generations.
Mm.
I'm tutoring some students. Like I volunteer at the library, and actually I'm teaching them how to use ChatGPT, which is kind of like other teachers. So I tutor math. I other teachers like, why are you crazy? We're gonna lose our jobs because of you. I said, don't worry about it. These are kids who need help anyway. They obviously come to me to tutor them, and I just, you save time if you can, if help yourself on your own, and because you have to be smart to know what to ask from ChatGPT. Like it's not, like what's the saying? Like a computer is only as smart as the person using it. That used to be the saying, decades ago. Like just. So I think it's still the same. But speaking of ChatGPT, like when everybody in my family was sick, so my daughter too, and she told me, it's like, oh, I have to stay after school one day to take an English test. And I was like, what? You never like usually when you miss a test, especially in English, you just do it at home. So no, it has to be handwritten in front of the teacher because and it's amazing how actually the advancement in technology is kind of like send them back into the past because especially in English, like you don't want to like a 3-page essay that's handwritten. Kids nowadays, they don't really know how to write really well, because they've had the computer since third grade, So now, especially English teachers, history teachers, they're going back to uh, handwritten test in person because they don't want a chat GPT production.
Um, well, I just wanted to thank you all for the last like 8 weeks. It's been a really great experience. Um, and yeah, I'm so excited to see what you all do in the future. And yeah, I'll definitely always be available on Slack if you ever need anything or like references or anything like that.
Thanks, Chase. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you.
What's gonna happen with our group's channel? When does it disappear? This TCL 63, do you know?
I'm not sure. We'll have to ask Devin or Caitlin to see if that'll stay around for a while.
Hmm. But nothing changes about our access to the entire Slack channel, no?
I don't
Like,
believe so. I
Okay.
think you all will be on the Collab Lab Slack for like
Mm-hmm.
indefinitely.
Old age will retire and we'll do a coding club.
You already know, Corina, you don't need to lose us. If you feel stressed, we're just one Slack away.
Uh, okay, I guess my LinkedIn posts are gonna get to like 3 per day now since I have nothing else to do.
Well, you still have the career lab. It's a lot of work.
I know. Oh, you're right. Actually, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good, actually. That's good. I was working, I know you were in the meeting, so I was working on that uh accordion thing, kept like trying to, so like I was kind of like only half listening. Is there a recording of that somewhere?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube, but do we have the link somewhere, so or do I just like wildly search for it,
If you search for Collab Lab, you will
Oh,
see
okay.
on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay, I have to look that. So
And
I'm
for
glad you
Raquel,
mentioned that.
yeah, and for Raquel, since you didn't join, like there are async tasks versus sync tasks. So I think async tasks is for this week. We are supposed to watch the videos on how to enhance your LinkedIn, and once you're done, you're supposed to reach out to the assigned mentors to schedule a time to review your LinkedIn. So that's a sync activity. Yeah, but you
Oh,
will find more detail in the YouTube recording.
okay. Thank you. I just found now I'm gonna also share there for Corina when I watch again. So
Yeah.
I can also be aware of it. Thank you so much, Shangwan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
Like
I was
I
wondering
didn't
where are
check
you?
the
I thought
channels.
you were going to attend.
Yeah, I never checked the other channels and then I lost it. Thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
Oh, you just posted it. Thank you, Raquel.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are so fast. Like before we would be kicked out of Google. You already had the link, everybody. Just making me feel so old.
Aslan, is the project you're working on a full stack or front end on?
Oh my God, it's a full stack, and now we have set up the AWS, and now the AWS is a whole nightmare. We have set up like the cloud storage on AWS, but then you have to move Node.js server to EC2. It's a crazy nightmare for now.
Oh
It's
wow.
mostly backend, yeah.
No, I think that's gonna be a good experience, definitely.
Yeah,
I know.
AWS is high demand.
Yeah, it's a lot though. It's a lot, especially in the beginning.
Mm.
Is this for work, Aslan, or is this your personal project?
This is in between. It's a startup, so it's a very small startup. I'm just helping them like Shangguan, not in a serious way. I'm learning and helping.
Oh,
Nice. I also have a project to work with my friend. She was in the coding bootcamp, so she didn't have time. Now we can go back to it. The website for her friends, cleaning services. So we are building her website with Next.js and Tailwind. Now we can finish. Yeah.
That's
Raquel,
awesome.
that's really cool. You have done a backend boot camp, right, Raquel?
Yeah, it was a full stack bootcamp. So we
Nice.
are using Next.js. It's very cool. I love Next.js.
Is it difficult?
It is not. It is basically React. It's just that I really like for SEO purpose. It's just that like if you make your website there, if you research your name, it just ranks your website up on the rank on Google search. And it's really good for that. And it is not difficult. No.
This woman that I'm connected with, she's a React expert, and she sent me a link. I guess she put together a course on Next.js on some site, and all together was like, 2 hours. And I was thinking, I don't know anything about Next.js. I was thinking, is it? Is it that easy that you can have a 2-hour course? So that's why I'm asking. Like, is this really something that you can learn in 2 hours?
I I feel like if you were good, like you were good in React, you are gonna be good in Next.js. It's not like that different. It has some of the perks different than React, but overall, I think you can learn. I would not say exactly 2 hours. I think because I need to study harder than everyone to actually learn something sometimes. I cannot learn some stuff quickly as much. Yeah, and then 2 hours would not be enough for me at the very least. But for some people would definitely be, I think. If they're good, they have a good knowledge in JavaScript and React, for sure.
I'm not interested. This woman just shared with me because we know each other. She was really proud, So, but I don't know. I don't know what to learn next. I'm really interested in AI, actually, to be honest. Like, I almost want to take like a Python course or something.
I think it's good, and you have the background for it. Definitely. I think I don't know who I mentioned. I'm like when I heard that you were a math teacher, I thought I was like, oh, she would be great for back end engineering. The whole calculus and logical thinking. But then after a while, I'm like, yeah, she's great for full stack. Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to deal with accessibility for a while. I feel like I don't know, just it adds a little bit of a purpose to the job beyond the actual job. And I feel like I need that a little bit. Um, like days are hard sometimes, and it's just, it's if you just work for the money, it's good to work for the money, and if you enjoy it. But from other people that I talk, they said, it's nice to have this extra layer, especially if I already have it. But it's true that I would be really bored if for me it was just like the front end part. Like I really don't find any pleasure in that. Like I love the coding, and that's why I love the DSAs. Chase, we went over time. Sorry, we're keeping you.
Yeah.
Not at all. Love
Thank you
listening
so
to
much for
this.
this.
Yeah, thank you all so much for this.
Well, we'll see each other in Slack, I guess,
Yes.
Yeah.
and LinkedIn, whatever the media is gonna come along.
Yeah. Thank you,
Bye,
everyone.
Goodbye,
everyone.
everyone.
Have a good
Bye.
night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you again for everything. Bye.
Bye.